Here's why starting an OnlyFans was the worst decision I made in my life. I did not realize that I was literally selling parts of my soul and the money could have never made it worth it.
OnlyFools is under investigation and they are going to be shutting down soon. This is what's happening right now, and it is absolutely going to have major implications on everything around us. So we talked about this already, that OnlyFools is being investigated by the Department of Justice. OnlyFools is a very risky business. It has been hit before by accusations that it does not adequately protect children. And in 2021, the BBC detailed several cases of explicit content on OnlyFools involving those who were not 18. In response, OnlyFools' parent company, Phoenix, said that it closed accounts it found to have indecent content related to those under 18. That same year, 102 Republicans and Democrats, so it was bipartisan, this was in August of 2021, demanded the Department of Justice investigate OnlyFools. And the Department of Justice told lawmakers 3 months later that they could not confirm or deny if they were investigating OnlyFools. Contacted recently, this article is in 2024, a department spokesperson declined to comment further. They absolutely are investigating them. It's not only that, it's the Department of Justice Criminal Division, Department of Justice Tax Evasion Division, and also the IRS. And not only that, but the IRS has actually been reaching out to content creators on OnlyFools, if you can even call them that. And it's I do not feel sorry for them. They brought this onto themselves, but yeah, a lot of them have been contacted by the IRS. Here is an article for you guys. The IRS opens a criminal investigation into OnlyFools. The future OnlyFools blew up during the events of 2020, nabbing over $2.3 billion in 2020. However, their fortunes have changed. So the IRS opens a criminal investigation into OnlyFools. The OnlyFools blew up during the events of 2020, pulling in $2.3 billion. However, this success has also attracted the attention of the federal government. The IRS has now contacted some of the site's biggest successful earners in connection with criminal tax evasion. That's to put them in prison, sparking speculation about the platform and its legitimacy. With Uncle Sam now involved, it's unclear what the future holds for OnlyFools. So Forbes outlined what the public knows and what they can reasonably expect to see from the investigation. IRS agents delivered grand jury subpoenas to high-earning OnlyFools performers. Guys, grand jury. And their tax agents, meaning the DOJ is involved, Department of Justice. Guys, you've been asking me for the proof. Where is it? It's right here, okay? If they are receiving grand jury subpoenas, that means that the Department of Justice is involved. The government is likely interested in performers' ostentatious displays of wealth. People who perform a business, including OnlyFools performers, can deduct from their tax owed any expenses that aren't deemed lavish or extravagant under the circumstances. Some OnlyFools performers are definitely making purchases that most people would consider lavish, but they may try to argue that those purchases are actually a necessary part of their work. Buying a McLaren gets attention. Attention gets subscribers. Subscribers makes money. So that is just one instance of it, showing you what's going on. That tells you right off the bat that the DOJ is involved. And it's not just it's the DOJ criminal sector, it's the DOJ tax evasion division, and then it's the IRS also. So all three of them are actually actively working to go after these individuals. And as we saw, over 102 Republican and Democrat members of Congress have called for the Department of Justice to shut the damn platform down. And even in 2024, the DOJ is not commenting. The reason why is because they are getting all their ducks in a row right now so they can take this evil platform offline.
Wish that someone would have warned me and told me that I was going to be later experiencing PTSD from the sexual trauma and the experiences that I was subjecting myself to on a daily basis. I did not know that I would later need to be in trauma counseling. It brought me into way darker places than I ever could have imagined, and I never want to go back there. I wish I could go back in time to who I was before I started doing all that stuff and just tell myself that the money is not worth it. Keep your happiness. And that's all I want to tell any girl who's thinking about starting an account. I just hope I can save even just one girl from going through the pain and the trauma that I am now going through because I subjected myself to that for the last.
I released my workout program yesterday. They take my account for me. Guess what? People are still buying my workout program. And guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Guess what though? Guess what? I'm making more money in a day from my workout program than I am from OnlyFans. God is fucking good. Cause I don't want to do OnlyFans. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do OnlyFans. I don't want to do OnlyFans.
There you go, y'all crying like a baby. See, they think it's all fun and games at first. They think it's all fun and games. They were big ballers, pimping. This is because they're in that masculine energy, and they're like, oh, we're a feminist, we're empowered. This is about women's empowerment, and then they turn around and say that this thing is it's destroyed them. It's made them feel inhuman. I'm going to tell you guys something. There are a lot of some of you maybe haven't experienced it. I have. I'm going to tell you this right now. If you go around and you start just messing around and having these casual encounters too often, it messes up your head. It messes with your mind, and eventually it's like it becomes disgusting. I'm telling you the honest to goodness truth. You have to slow down at some point. Okay? And a lot of women, they don't even realize that what they're doing until it hits them like, this is disgusting. And it feels like your skin is crawling. You're like, who are these people? Why am I with this person who does not even care about me? Oh my gosh, this is horrible. I can't do this anymore. All right? I've been there. I have 100% been there. Okay? That type of immorality, living that type of life, it catches up to you. And it's different for men. We're conditioned to be warriors. Like, you have to take accountability and responsibility for everything you do and move on and survive, and that's it. No one's crying for you. No one. And that's the life of a man, But for women on the other hand, it sticks with them, and they'll turn around. Of course, they will always look for plausible deniability. And where do they go in the end? They go to the church, because that's the only place that they can go. All right? Because like I said, the streets lead to the church, and the church leads to the streets. So they go to the church, and in the church, then they start, they start listening to the pastor, and they start becoming like saying that Jesus, they get baptized again, sometimes 2 or 3 times. And now Jesus has made them brand new again, and he has washed it all away. And now they're supposed to sit up there on their high horse lecturing people after the life that they lived. Come on, y'all.
I wanted to come on here and kind of talk to you guys about why I stopped doing OnlyFans. I know, kind of a shocker. I am a Christian. And I know that God is a forgiving and loving God, but, for the last few months, I've known that he has told me he doesn't want me doing this anymore. I love him, and I believe in him, and I believe that Jesus died on that cross, and I want to go to heaven, but how can I imagine that that's a possibility when I've caused so many people to stumble and fall into sin? Now, this is not me judging anyone who does OnlyFans. Do whatever you want to do. It's your life. It's your body. I did it for a while, for over a year. And I didn't care. I didn't care what people saw on me. I didn't care what people said about me. I didn't really care about the stigma behind it, because I was just in a very far place from God at the time, and I didn't have a relationship with him anymore. I was going through a divorce. I was financially, overwhelmed with debt and trying to get back on my feet. And I used it as a crutch. And I told myself that once I no longer needed the income, that I would stop. And once I no longer needed the income, I did not stop. So a couple months ago, I started to feel something telling me that I didn't want to do this anymore. I didn't feel comfortable doing this anymore.
That something was shame. That something was shame, children. It was shame.
I was letting the messages pile up. I didn't want to respond to anyone. I didn't want to post content, didn't want to take photos. I didn't feel comfortable doing so. I was also so focused on my fitness journey and losing weight, I felt like I was losing all of my femininity. It's been a hard balance of trying to be empowered as a woman, but also adhere and try to listen to the word of God and what he's telling me. And I feel like he's telling me that I've been causing too many people to stumble for too long. And it's time for me to start raising people up and bringing them to the light and letting them know that Jesus Christ is their Lord and Savior and that he died on that cross for your sins and that he loves you. I'm sorry, but he loves you. And he forgives me and he forgives you. And he's washed away your sins. And he's going to come back one day. And everything's going to be okay again.
You remember what I told y'all? He washed it away. He made them brand new, and you cannot judge them because his sacrifice, it cleaned everything up from the beginning to the end, and he let those that he who has not sinned throw at the first stone, so you cannot judge them. And they don't understand that's not how it works. Yes, God gives you eternal salvation, and he washes away, and he takes away what you've done. So in his eyes, it's gone. You cannot go and demand that society not talk about it anymore and say, now you're a different person entirely, so we're going to treat you like you're a new person. We're not going to talk about the things that you've done. It does not work that way. Okay? It doesn't. They're like, Jesus doesn't remember. God doesn't remember it anymore, so neither can you. Neither can you. What are you kidding? Bro, you did some bad things. That was not me. That person is gone. That person is gone. That person is buried and gone. I'm brand new. I'm brand new. I'm made brand new. These people are jokers. They're absolute jokers. They went down this path. They chose to be on this platform. They chose to involve themselves in this type of thing. And now what are they doing? Now they're filled with regret, 100% filled with regret, and they can't look in the mirror. They can't look in the mirror anymore, and they're looking to deflect. They want some. So what do? They start to look within, all right, or look out and start and looking towards religion and thinking that religion is going to wipe away all of these things. And I respect religion. But at the same time, I think people need to be accountable for what they did and understand that listen to me, the law doesn't forget what you've done. So you're telling your community to forget what you've done? You're telling your family to forget what you've done? You tell the shame that you've brought upon them?
To be banned. That's fascinating. You think OnlyFans should be banned? Why?
Because I told you I'm against like anything that's pornographic.
Yes.
And it's used for porn.
Yes.
We don't need to be silly here.
Mm-hmm.
And so my thing is like, there is nothing funnier to me than saying it's empowering women. So let me get this right. You are empowering yourself by taking the most special, sacred, beautiful thing you have and exposing it to the world for a very small amount of money, maybe a large amount of money, whatever it is.
It's usually $5.50 a month.
Yeah, I was gonna say usually about $5.99.
My friends.
So when my friends told me, and so when I say you're a woman with no value, and you say, well, yes, I am, and I go, okay, so you're a woman with $5.99 value.
There you go, guys. There you go. Women made this choice. They decided to choose this life for themselves, but of course, they never want to take accountability and face the consequences for their actions. By the way, guys, don't forget to check out my newsletter. It is awesome. To get my personal thoughts and insights, it's linked in the description of the video, so go check that out. Subscribe to it if you want to. And also join the Angry Guy community over on Locals for exclusive content, or if you just want to support the channel, you can find a link in the description of the video, and you can find us also by going to angrygalaxy.com. Only Fools is shutting down soon, y'all. It is shutting down soon. It is being investigated. They are going hard. The DOJ won't let them be. and soon they will be a thing of the past, and the people who created it will be in prison where they belong, and a lot of the content creators will be in prison and facing destitution because the IRS is never going to let them be, and they will never be able to make the kind of money that they need to make to pay back all of the money that they made on OnlyFools in a short period of time and then completely blew. If they made $500,000, they owe the IRS like 200 to 300 to 200 to 250 of that, and they don't have that money, and they're not going to be able to make that money back again. Their best bet is going to be on the streets because they have a certain lifestyle that they've become accustomed to. And the thing is, when the IRS is coming after you, you can't use your bank account anymore because you're afraid that they're going to take all the money out. They're going to freeze your accounts. You can't even buy Netflix. Your life becomes miserable. You become a vagabond, bro. You become a 100% vagabond. Even you can't even pay your Metro PCS bill. I'm telling y'all, it's insane. It's insane. I say Metro PCS because that's a prepaid service like Mint Mobile, but you still need a credit card to make a payment. A credit card or a debit card, and you're screwed. You're absolutely screwed. How are you going to pay your credit card bill if you don't have a bank account? You see where we're going? It makes your life so miserable. And every single day that you owe the IRS money, it goes up by the day. But every day it's compounded. The interest is not compounded by the month or by the year. It's compounded by the day. So if you owe the IRS $250,000, they're going to go back to what, over the course of the time where you made that money. And they're going to keep on compounding it from that period of time for every instance. So every year that you owe them that money, they're going to be compounding it from those periods. So if they owe $200,000 or $250,000 over the course of just a couple of years, that amount is way higher now. No, that's not $250,000 anymore. That's now $400,000, and they have no way of really paying that. There are things like the Fresh Start program; they won't always qualify. As if you've been like, for example, if you've ever been behind on your taxes, you ever screwed up, you typically won't qualify. Like, for example, if you had like late payments to the IRS and stuff like that, then typically, to my understanding, you will not qualify. It's for people who've basically always been on time with their payments and they screwed up one time. Even with the Fresh Start program, though, you still have to make a payment. They're basically like, we'll work with you. So $400,000, you owe $400,000, and they're like, okay, well, we'll work with you. We'll accept $100K. That's still a deal, and there's no guarantee. Or maybe $200K. Where the hell are they going to come with that kind of money? And these are people with no financial literacy. So what are they going to do? They've become accustomed to a certain life also. So they can't do OnlyFools anymore. They're going to go to the streets to make their money because that's the only place where they can make a couple $1,000s in a day very quickly. And the SIP economy is going to hell right now. So that's going to be even more difficult. And there's the prospect of getting arrested or, contracting something out there. So there's also that. Guys, it's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. Then there's also that they can also try to go and find a simp to save them and rescue them and provide everything that they need. And that's another thing a lot of them will try to do. Guys, that's why you have to be so careful and know who you're getting into a relationship with. All right? Really, no one should be getting married right now because you don't know who they are. Before you get married to anyone, you need to know what their credit score is. You need to see their credit report. You need to know if they've ever been married before. Did they have children? Where are those children now? You need to do a full history, and even then you might still miss things because you don't know what their past is. How much money do they owe in student loan debt? These are very important questions. Men have to wake up and realize that in 2024, the juice it's just not worth it anymore. If you want to be in a relationship, go overseas and have a date over there. You don't have to play games with these girls. They're basically like, you get it right away. That's just their foot in their door. They will cook for you, clean for you, give you a back massage, begin creating value immediately. You know the reason why? Because they like you. They like boys. All right. In Western society, they don't like us. They do not like us, but they need us. And the irony is that as men walk away, what do? They immediately use shame, insults, and guilt because they need to be right to explain why men are choosing to avoid relationships and stay away because they're like, oh, because it's your fault because we're so wonderful. Like, let's watch this. Let's watch a little bit of this video.
A study called from the Pew Center Research conducted a study that said 63% of men under age 30 would rather stay home and watch porn than go on a date. Men said they are getting their needs met without having to go on a date. Would men rather stay single than be with a woman is the question.
That's what they're saying, pretty much.
63% of men.
I think they're cheap.
Yeah, they just ain't got no money.
They don't have money, which you should get your money up before you start dating.
Y'all see that? So immediately they start to attack men. They say that 63% of men, let's be real, that's almost 70% of men would rather stay home and not go on dates. And what do they say? Oh, it's because they don't have any money. Because they're cheap. They need to get their money up so they can go out and spend time with women. If you don't want to spend a time with a woman, then that is because you're broke. There's no other reason why a man would not want to spend time with women and spend money on her if they weren't broke.
It's cheaper to sit home and beat your meat,
right,
than actually go out and find actual women to hang out with.
You see that? You see that? This is, guys, shame it's called sign language. Shame insults guilt because they need to be right. I don't feel bad at all. I am so glad that this terrible platform is shutting down, and they're gonna have to figure out how to survive. Men have done it. Men do it all the time, and they're gonna have to figure it out, and that's it. What do you think regarding this, guys? OnlyFools is shutting down. Let me know your thoughts, and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA. Men walking away, and cheers.